Hi everyone, in this video we are going to learn about algebraic fractions, mainly for addition and subtraction. So before we go into that, let's recap on the concepts when we add and subtract fractions. The first thing we want to do is to change the denominator to the same number in order for us to add. So we can cross multiply times 4 and times 6, and after that, when we have the same denominator, we can add the numbers together. Right? This is actually not so advisable because at the end we will need to simplify the fraction. So a better practice will be using LCM. If we use LCM, the LCM is 12. So we multiply the number to get 12, and you'll find that later on we'll get a fraction that we don't have to simplify. So this is should be used when we use for algebraic fractions, because simplifying algebraic fractions is tough. Alright, so let's start with a simple example. Regardless of what is the numerator or denominator, the first thing is to change the denominator to the same number. So in this case, we just multiply, cross multiply, the denominator will be 35, and later on we just add up the numerator. Alright, so in this case, it's already in the simplest fraction. Alright, example number 2. So now we have variables at the denominator, but don't worry. Remember the concept, we need to change the denominator to the same denominator for both. So we just cross multiply. For the first fraction, we multiply by 5. The other fraction, we multiply by 2x. So at the end, we get 10x as the denominator. And for the numerator, we just subtract them from 15. So this is the final answer. So just be careful later on when we deal with more complicated subtraction. For the third example, now we have more complicated fractions, but don't worry, the steps are the same. We just need to be careful with every step for our multiplication and addition. So the first step is to convert the denominator by cross multiplying. So on this side we multiply by x minus 1, on this side we multiply by x. Just be careful when we expand the brackets, make sure this number is multiplied across the two terms. So after simplifying, we get this. Now that we have the same denominator, we can add the numerators up. So it's just a good practice to arrange the expression according to the power, starting from the highest power and all the way down. Right? So this is an example on when we have variables for both denominators. Right? For the last one, is similar to the previous example, but I want to emphasize on this minus sign, which many students will make mistakes later on. Right? So very quickly, the first step, cross multiply, and after that we expand it. So this is the step that I would like all of you to take note. When we join the numerators together, we need to be careful about this minus sign. So we need to use a bracket in front of the minus sign, and we need to expand this bracket by multiplying the negative 1 across the bracket. So at the end we get minus 10x plus 5, and then only we simplify and you get this final answer. Alright, that's another way of writing it. We can cross multiply by writing in this manner, whereby we just write x times x plus 2 minus 5 times 2x minus 1. That's one way of writing it, and this will be faster, and this will actually help you to prevent mistakes like this that we'll get from here. Right? So after doing that, the rest they are the same. Okay, so that's all for this lesson on addition and subtraction. So just a recap. First thing, we cross multiply the denominator, then we just make sure the numerator are added or subtracted properly. So that's all for this lesson.